me about, so you're going back to doing triathlon. You did triathlon before.
Yeah.
So 2016 came where, London Triathlon?
So I'll give you a rundown of 2016.
Okay.
So in May I had Yorker 70.3.
Yeah.
And I went 5 hours 4.
Okay.
Nice. In weather that was, when we reached the top of the climb, it was probably -1.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And I was just in a tri-suit, cold. I did Westernburt, where we had a bit of a showdown with you.
Oh yeah.
And Chris Newman, which
Yeah.
was a hell of a lot of fun. And then
I was injured. Yeah, that was my excuse.
the swim off, the purpose swim
oh yeah,
off.
the sub 6 minute 400.
And then I had Bristol, and in Bristol I went. I did 2 hours something, like low 2 hours. Again, had a good day, and then in London to finish off, it was Olympic plus. So 1.5k swim, 80k bike, 10k run.
Yeah.
And yeah, I finished 4th overall, first in my age group.
That's mental. And you beat Matt Bottrill on the bike.
Yeah, over the 80k.
So then, you stopped racing tri and then just focused on running. So why did you focus? I mean, obviously you're a fantastic runner, and always have been a fantastic runner. So why did you stop doing tri, and then why have you come back?
I stopped tri because I needed family time. I had a 1-year-old who I hadn't seen much of. Well, I tell a lie. I'd obviously seen him, but I wasn't spending
I'll let you go ahead.
the quality weekend time. Yeah, on the weekend I would swim every like both days, and then I would bike or run it. So I really wasn't spending the time that I should have been. So I wanted to stop because a single sport just made sense.
Yeah.
And before starting tri, I was always a runner.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's just go back to this. My end goal was always London Marathon before I was 30. And I did.
And give me some of your PBs. So your 5k PB is ridiculous.
So 5k 16:58, 10k is 35:10.
Wow.
Half marathon is 77:11.
Jesus.
5 mile is 10 mile is 58:40.
And that's recent.
Yeah. And marathon's 2:52. And I did sub 3 in London in 2018 when it was 26 degree heat.
Oh. What was your time again?
2:58.
Wow, that's great.
And yeah, I've had a good 5 years, but there's always been something missing. I've always wanted to. There's never been an element of pure fun, like with running. With running, not the fun that I used to have when I finished a triathlon. Yeah, and I also think you don't need to be a single sport. You do need to be good. Morning. Whereas when you get into triathlon, I've never been that good a swimmer. I didn't swim when I was a kid. So, but I found what I lost in the swim, I made up, especially in sort of my final year, I made up all of my time on the bike and the run.
Yeah.
I could just about hold enough power on the bike, and the run I still had enough run force to make it home. And I think it's just that sense of, okay, I don't actually need to be good at one sport.
No, it's balancing.
I can be mediocre at all three, but be very good overall.
Yeah, exactly. If you're above average at something, you can win.
Yeah. You don't, if you look at professional racers, the best swimmers in the world,
they don't win triathlons.
They don't win triathlon.
No.
The people who win are the people who will just be level at
Yes, across the
everything.
board. They'll be sort of third or fourth from the front on the
Yeah.
swim, but probably conserving energy anyway. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
little bit like Varga, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Richard Varga.
Varga 2012.
Yeah, and he was basically just a domestique, a
Yeah.
swim domestique, wasn't he?
Yeah, he lived
One
with
in-
the Brownies, morning.
For the Brownies, yeah. So, what's the plan then this year in terms of racing then? You're doing Outlaw half?
Outlaw half in June. Now it's been pushed back. And then, yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is. There's going to be another triathlon. So, I think for now it's just about enjoying being back training for
Yeah.
something.
And what differences are you going to make then? Because in terms of sort of how you're approaching it, because you're obsessive like me,
Yeah.
how are you going to manage that? Because that's difficult. Because it is an obsessive sport.
Yeah, it is. I think for me it's getting used to, if I have to miss a day, for example, prime example, it was my son's 6th birthday on Thursday.
Yeah.
And the whole agreement with my wife, Ella, of coming back to it was family comes first.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm not going to say I struggle with, but because I am obsessive, there is very much an element of exercise comes first.
Yes.
So I think for me, I think the biggest difference I'm going to have to try and implement is if I have to miss a day or miss a session, I've only managed to get out cycling once this week or swimming once this week. It's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Whereas before, if I missed a session, I missed a bike ride, I missed a run, I missed a swim, I would probably be quite hell to live with.
Yeah.
Because it would get me annoyed and down that I had to miss it.
So, but is that just as simple as saying to yourself,
No.
I'm doing this for different reasons now?
Yeah, this coming back now is going back to, in my mind, what I love. I never thought I would love it when I first got into it, God knows how many years ago, but I fell in love with it quickly. And this now isn't going back to be, as much as I want to be as competitive as, maybe I was 5 years ago. This now is just going back to, I just want to enjoy myself. I want to finish and race and just smile about it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people go through that actually, that whole cycle of you get into it because it's fun and then you realise that actually maybe I'm alright at this. I'll work a bit harder and see what I can do.
Yeah.
And then it becomes obsessive and then it either has a mental or physical, you get injured or you have relationship problems or mental health problems. So then you stop and then you kind of go, oh, I actually really miss this.
Yeah.
Morning. And hi Tom. I think it's a really common journey and I'm really interested because I mean it's no different really to what my sort of realisation that I was relatively competitive was a year before yours in 2015. And it was completely unexpected because I didn't realise, when I finished, I came 14th in Bristol, but 4th in the age group the year before you came top 10. And I was sat in Las Iguanas with my mum and my wife when Robbie Stewart, the race director, texted me to say, you do realise you've just come top 15? And I didn't even realise, I didn't get my ticket or anything because I didn't know. But that was the problem. That was the start of it when I was like, oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can do like top 15.
Yeah.
What would happen if I took this seriously?
Yeah.
And then you kind of become really obsessive and then I got injured. And so I just chucked my toys out the pram, but I was just like, oh, this is bullshit. I'm not interested in this. And now I'm in a similar position to you where, similar in as much as I weighed twice as much as you and I was never a good runner. I've been within 100 metres of you on a prom run.
That's when
That was that year, 2015.
Talking about being competitive, I think that's when it clicked to me that I've got to get a wiggle on here.
Because you're being caught by the fat boy.
Like there was that period where we both knew that we were quite close to each other in racing terms and running terms, but in my mind I've always been a bit of, running has always been my strongest part of triathlon, because that was my background, like I said. And then turning around with half a mile to go and looking over my shoulder 4 or 5 times thinking, Hester's catching me here. I can't go.
I ran my fastest ever 5k in the first 5k of that 8k. So we'll go right here and up Belmont. I'm only joking, we'll go left.
I could have killed you there. That's the one thing I've learned a lot, and that's what I'm hoping to bring back to triathlon. With running, it is so much about pacing, power on the bike or pacing on the run to make sure you don't go off too quick. And I think that's probably the one thing that I want to bring back this year, is sticking to a power in a half Ironman or an Olympic distance.
No matter how you feel.
Yeah.
You just got that number. Car front.
Because in 2016 I didn't ride to power or to heart rate. I ran to feel.
Yes. Which meant more or less all in all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Even on a training ride, I would be all in. I didn't even really know back in 2015 or 2016 what heart rate zones were.
Talking of training rides, I think I need to just remind you of that first ride, the first time I ever met you in Brecon on a training camp. I'm going to go right here, sorry Ian. I think the first time you and I sort of actually had a proper conversation was at the bottom of Black Mountain, and we found ourselves at the front of the training group, and I thought, oh, this guy's pretty quick, he's a bit good, and so I thought, I'll try and stick with him, see how good I was. First day of the training camp.
I'll let you go.
And morning. And so about halfway up Black Mountain, I'm thinking, I'm dying here, but I'm not going to show it. This guy looks pretty good. We get to the top of Black Mountain and we come flying down the other side, and I'm like, bloody hell, that was brutal. I think we rode the rest of the ride pretty hard as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And then
I think we did only about 80k that day.
We did about 1600 meters of climbing.
Yeah, it was pretty much a whole day of climbing.
It
wasn't
was.
it?
And then we got back to the digs where we were staying. You were like, right, I'm packing up, I'm going home.
Yeah, we got.
You were only there for one day.
We did a swim set that afternoon, which you took, I think, you and Faye took.
That's right, yeah.
And then as soon as we finished the swim, I was
went
driving home.
And I was like, bloody hell, yeah, I've got 2 more days of this. And you left me in an absolute mess.
I remember in the car, when we got back to the big house that we were staying in.
Yeah.
It's a huge house.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
And I was trying to say to everyone, should we do a brick run? Run?
No, you're going home. Yeah, that was a good day. I fell in love with Black Mountain that day.